Hi and welcome to SQE Success, your pathway to becoming an English solicitor. In this video, we'll look at 3 questions in relation to fixtures and fittings, which falls under property practice in FLK2. Let's dive in. Here's the first question we tackle today. A woman sells her freehold title to a property. The property has a large ballroom with a decorative chandelier hanging from the ceiling. The chandelier is screwed tightly into the ceiling and it is a standalone decorative item, chosen by the woman to suit her personal taste. The woman now wishes to take the chandelier with her when she moves out of the property. She believes no damage to the ceiling would be caused by the removal. The parties have agreed to use the Standard Conditions of Sale, 2018 edition, 5th revision, without deviation. Which of the following statements best describes the legal position? A. The woman cannot take the chandelier as it is more likely to be considered a fixture given the degree of annexation to the property. B. The woman can take the chandelier as it is more likely to be considered as a fitting given the purpose of annexation to the property. C. The woman can take the chandelier because the purpose of annexation was merely aesthetic enhancement, not structural integration. D. The woman can take the chandelier provided she removes it before completion. E. The woman can take the chandelier as long as no damage is caused to the property when it is removed. You can pause the video and think about it. The best answer is B. The woman can take the chandelier as it is more likely to be considered as a fitting given the purpose of annexation to the property. Under English law, whether an item is a fixture, which passes with the land, or a fitting/chattel, which does not pass with the land, depends on 2 tests. 1. The degree of annexation, and 2. The purpose of annexation, as established in Elitestone v. Morris, 1997. Here, the chandelier is screwed tightly into the ceiling, indicating some physical annexation. However, it is not integrated into any larger design or permanent feature. It is a standalone decorative object, added to suit the owner's personal preferences. The purpose of annexation here is purely aesthetic and temporary, rather than to permanently enhance the property as a fixture. On balance, the chandelier is more likely to be treated as a fitting or chattel, and therefore does not pass with the land. The seller is entitled to remove it before completion. Let's look at another question very similar to the first question. Same initial fact about the chandelier hanging tightly on the ceiling of the property and the woman wishes to take it with her. Standard Conditions of Sale without deviation will be used. This time, the woman was previously advised that removing the chandelier could cause significant damage to the ceiling, due to the old and fragile condition of the property structure. Which of the following statements best describes the legal position? A. The chandelier is more likely a fitting, so the woman is entitled to remove it before completion, regardless of potential damage. B. The chandelier is more likely a fixture and will pass with the land unless excluded by special condition. C. The chandelier can be removed by the woman, as long as she repairs any damage caused. D. The chandelier remains a chattel because it serves an aesthetic purpose, not a structural one. E. The chandelier can only be removed if the buyer agrees in writing after exchange. The best answer is B. The chandelier is more likely a fixture and will pass with the land unless excluded by special condition. The chandelier is tightly fixed to the ceiling, suggesting a significant degree of annexation. The fact that removing it could damage the ceiling due to the fragile structure supports the view that it is integrated into the property, not just functionally but structurally. The purpose may be aesthetic, but the practical implications of removal reinforce the conclusion that it is more likely a fixture. Under the Standard Conditions of Sale, fixtures pass automatically with the property. If the seller wishes to remove one, it must be expressly excluded by a special condition in the contract. Here is the third tricky question. Same initial fact about the chandelier hanging on the ceiling of the property and the woman wishes to take it with her. This time, the decorative chandelier is screwed loosely into the ceiling. It forms the centerpiece of a larger artwork, which includes a ceiling painting permanently painted onto the ceiling of the ballroom. The chandelier can be removed without causing any damage to the ceiling or the surrounding painted artwork. Which of the following statements best describes the legal position? A. The chandelier is a chattel and can be freely removed by the seller. B. The chandelier is a fixture because it is permanently attached to the ceiling and passes with the land unless expressly excluded. C. The chandelier is a fixture due to its conceptual integration with the artwork and passes with the land unless expressly excluded. D. The chandelier is a chattel because it is only loosely attached and causes no damage when removed. E. The chandelier can be removed after exchange as long as no damage is caused. The best answer is C. The chandelier is a fixture due to its conceptual integration with the artwork and passes with the land unless expressly excluded. The physical annexation in this case is weak as it's only loosely screwed in. However, the chandelier forms the centerpiece of a larger, permanently painted ceiling artwork. Its inclusion in this fixed artistic scheme shows that it is conceptually integrated into the property as a permanent aesthetic enhancement. The fact that the chandelier can be removed without causing damage is relevant but not determinative. What matters more is the purpose and visual integration. This is an example of conceptual annexation, where an item becomes a fixture because it is part of a larger, immovable whole. Therefore, under the standard conditions of sale, it passes with the land unless expressly excluded by special condition. This table is a summary of the legal principles. In the first scenario, the chandelier is tightly screwed into the ceiling but is a standalone decorative item, chosen purely for personal taste. Although there is some physical annexation, it is not severe, and there would be no damage caused by removal. Under the Elitestone test, the key factor is the purpose of annexation. Since the chandelier serves a purely aesthetic, non-permanent function, it is more likely to be considered a fitting, which the seller may remove. In the second scenario, the chandelier is also tightly screwed in, but the woman was advised that removal could damage the fragile ceiling. While the fixture remains decorative, the potential for structural damage elevates the degree of annexation, showing a higher level of physical integration into the property. In the third scenario, the chandelier is only loosely attached, but it is visually and functionally integrated into a larger, permanent ceiling artwork. Although it can be removed without damage, its conceptual annexation outweighs the weak physical fixing. The court would likely treat it as a fixture, based on its purpose within the permanent design. Have you noticed how a slight change of fact can affect the legal outcome? That's exactly the skill the SQE tests, and mastering it is key to exam success. I published books filled with MCQs, each built with 3 variations of a legal scenario to sharpen your analysis and deepen your understanding. It is a must-read to pass SQE 1. Turn your ambition into qualification. Begin your SQE journey to become an English solicitor.